Hey, what up everyone? I'm Sinnycool and this is Gems of War. And today I have 3 teams for you for the Journey event. I got high, I got mid, I got low. We're gonna be looping them like we're Sonic looping Miles. You know what I mean? So, got 3 of them here. Mostly I want you to concentrate on your weapons for real. You gotta use the Pathfinder. But think about your weapons, because the restriction is like brown giants. So there's not too much there. It's kind of like, a class event or something where you really just think about your weapons. We got brown weapons. You can use any brown weapon that you have. So for my high-level team here, I went Ogress, the Ruby weapon. I forget that dude's name, but he does an instant kill. I'll get it. Grimborn Blood Eye. And he has the same mana colors as the Ruby weapon, but we're only going to need him super deep anyway for his instant kill. Like, the Ruby weapon's going to be wiping him out in one shot, so it's no big deal until later. And with all the Ogress explosions, destroys, and all the Ruby weapon destroys and explosions, like, he will get up when you need him. You know what I mean? So, he's there in 3rd slot. We got the Looper in last slot. You could move the bottom 2, flip-flop them if you want to early, and then flip them back late if you want. But this is what I think is the best team that you could do for high-level players who have everything in the game. Or if you just have the Ruby weapon, I think you should use the Ruby weapon. Whether it's Ogress, Ruby weapon, and 2 of the Pathfinder, or you're using the Onyx Giant instead of Grimborn Blood Eye, or something like that, I think the Ruby weapon is the way to go for anybody that has it. True damage to all enemies, blowing up the board, getting yourself back up, doing it again if you need to. It's a great weapon. It's one of the best weapons in the game. Definitely top 5, probably top 3 weapons in the game. So the Ruby weapon would be the way to go for this Journey event, in my opinion. For high-level players, at least. As far as Journey goes, I bought up to the weapon. And then I orbed my Pathfinder and got him fully folied. So fully ascended, fully traded is what I mean when I say that. I did go back and buy one more past the weapon because I wanted to show multiple of the Pathfinder, whose name is Scoria Giant Born. I should look these names up before I start, but it is what it is. I'm trying to get this out for you for it's too late today. But yeah, Scoria. You could do multiple of that, and I bought it past the weapon just to do multiple of it. But I think like a normal person out there who's not making a video and doesn't need multiples of the Pathfinder could just buy up to the weapon and do just fine. So make sure you buy up to that weapon, help your guild out. Use the Ruby weapon. Ogress is the main thing that's going to get up the Ruby weapon. You're not going to be casting too much other than Ogress and Ruby weapon for this team here. Maybe super deep Grimborn Blood Eye when stuff gets really tough. But here's a team where we're looping them like we're Sonic looping Miles here. So looping them, looping Miles like Sonic. That's probably what's going to be on the thumbnail or the title or something. But we got the Doom Spade, which I think is a very good idea. Shout out to Sana, Lady Outfield. We were talking about what we were going to do today, yesterday in the live stream. So if you want to get a sneak peek sometimes, come to the live streams. Because they mentioned we were doing spoilers, and it was mentioned that today is going to be Journey and it's going to be Brown Giants. I'm like, hey, let's take a look at it. I can give you guys a sneak peek, a little appetizer. You can get a jump on it before I even put out the video, before anybody puts out the video. So took a look at it on Sunday. I said, yeah, let's do the Ruby weapon. That's probably what we're going to do. Ogress, Ruby weapon, Pathfinder, and Sana had mentioned the Doom Spade, which I think is going to be very good for people who do not have the Ruby weapon. So you got Doom Spade, which throws a bunch of brown up on the board and hits the first 2 enemies. And it throws more brown on the board depending on how many brown allies you have and how many brown enemies there are. So you're going to have all brown allies every single fight because that's the restriction. It's impossible not to have all brown on your team. So I think the least you'll do at gem spawn is like 10. And then depending on or maybe 8 or 10, something like that. But I think you do 2 and then you get 2 per. So I think it's 10, but anyway. Then there will be brown enemies, occasionally, so it'll go up from there. I think 10's the least it can be, and it can go up to a certain amount as well. I think 2 per enemy, so you get another 8 or something like that. You could potentially do like 18 brown on the board, which would definitely be looping. So that's what I would do if you do not have the Ruby weapon. Use the Doomed Spade. I think I have it in first slot to begin with, and then Ogress, if you cast Ogress, she's going to pull herself to the front. If she happens to, fill herself all the way back up again, you cast the spade. You're trying to loop on the spade, so you're casting the spade whenever you have it. You can look at before you cast the spell, you can look and see, like, how much it's going to do. But I think the Scoria only does 8, like, every single time. So the Doom Spade is almost always better to cast than Scoria. But if the Doom Spade's not up, you cast Scoria, who also throws brown up on the board. Does single target damage, but also throws brown on the board. We're using Titan class, just like the first team. We got a brown storm, so brown is falling from the sky while we throw brown up on the board, while we're hitting 2 enemies at once, while we're probably looping or pseudo-looping, or close to looping at least. And then you got the Pathfinder, who can do the same thing, just slightly less brown up on the board. But hopefully by the time you cast your spade and you got your storm going, hopefully there's so much brown up there that the Scoria Giantborn will also loop. And then you're just looping them to death, getting those miles. Should be pretty easy. I think high and mid players won't have too much trouble. Ruby Weapon or Doom Spade. Ogress should be on every team. Titan should be the class for every team. Your banner should be double brown pretty much for every team. I think I did double green-brown, but something like that. Brown should definitely be plussed. Alright, here's the low-level team. The only thing I could really think of for low-level players would be Earth's Fury. Someone else mentioned that yesterday. Can't remember who it was, sorry. But Earth's Fury is probably one of the better things for low-level players. Like, if you don't have the Ruby Weapon, you don't have the Doom Spade, maybe you don't even have Duskbringer or something like that, which is also a brown weapon you could use, you could go with Earth's Fury. I almost did Mang, but I feel like with Ogress on the team, she's going to keep pulling herself to the front, so Mang will never be in first slot. So the thing that these weapons do is they drain one enemy's armor, and then they hit them, so pretty much true damage, but they then give that armor to... Like, Mang will give it to your first slot, or itself, I think. Mang gives it to itself, and Earth's Fury gives it to the whole team. So it's kind of like the difference between the Wild King and the Wild Queen. Wild Queen gives it to first slot, Wild King gives it to everybody, but, Mang is more potent in that it'll give itself more attack. Earth's Fury kind of spreads it out amongst the whole team. But, since Ogress is going to keep pulling herself to the front, either way, we might as well use Earth's Fury, give Ogress the attack, and also do a little true damage and wipe their armor out. So I was going from the top to the bottom, casting Earth's Fury. So the first slot, then the second slot, then the third slot, then the fourth slot, draining all their armor and giving it a bunch of attack to Ogress. And then to finish them off, I was doing Scoria or Skulls. So drain their armor, give yourself attack, and then finish them off with Scoria or Skulls. It was working very well. Even as a low-level team. So, totally recommend Ruby Weapon or Doom Spade, but if you just don't have either one of those, you would use Earth's Fury, which I think is a mastery weapon you get from red and brown, so almost everybody should have it, unless you're, like, very, very low level. If you're very, very low level, you might just want to use Black Manacles or something, but you get them around the same time, I think. But yeah, just do what you can do if you're a low-level player. You're not expected to do too much if you don't have, like, Doom Spade we got from a Tower of Doom, like a brown Tower of Doom a little while ago, so hopefully you have it if you're following my advice. And then the Ruby Weapon, you have to do, like, this whole song and dance, collect these weapons and stuff like that. I think there's one in the shop right now for it, the Lodestar, so make sure you go get that, too. I'll do a live stream tomorrow, and we'll talk about all that stuff, the weekly preview and faction event and class event and stuff, so make sure I see you there tomorrow. Like, share, subscribe, consider joining. It helps a lot. Tell your good about the channel, comment below. And I will see y'all next time. Peace.